All right, what's up guys? Douglas from Dougsterbob.com here, and today I just wanted to make a quick video talking about some stretches that you should do before you session. A lot of times I go out to the park, I get too excited, I jump on the bike and I start riding, and it takes about 15-20 minutes before something happens that I was not prepared for. And it's always best to be prepared and so that you can avoid injury, okay? So I'm gonna just run through some of the most common quick stretches that I do before I session. Sometimes stretches are a little awkward, like you don't wanna be doing little, what do you call those? Like ladder drills, you know, at the skate park. You don't wanna be doing squats. It's just like being a weirdo, right? But you wanna be warmed up. And so I'm gonna run you through a few of my stretches that I do before I ride that don't make you look weird. But before we even talk about the stretches, I need to explain something. So when you're stretching, there's a lot of debate in the athletic world about stretching. And when you're stretching, you're stretching, right? You're stretching your muscles, you're stretching whatever. And when this happens, you're essentially causing like muscle fatigue. And it's a weird thing because you don't want to overdo it. And a lot of people stretch and they overdo it. And one thing we talk about a lot in bike school is how you need your muscles to fire off, right? You need peak output from your muscles when you're doing a lot of these tricks, because when you pop off and you do a trick, it takes a lot of instant force, right? We need our muscles to fire off and we need them to be as strong as possible when we're firing off that muscle. So if you stretch too much, you're gonna overdo it. And some people, some woo-woo people in the industry say, you know, don't do stretches, right? And I'm gonna disagree with them. Stretches are very important. I think they warm you up, but there is a point where you can overdo it. A lot of people are gonna say, well, no, like instead of doing this to stretch your forearms, you should do this, and you should just like massage it. And I don't know, I don't feel like that does anything. And so anyway, granted, I didn't go to school for this, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. So just think about that. Keep that in mind. Now, I will say, I remember like in sports, we'd stretch for 30 seconds each thing. And that's definitely overdoing it, right? If you're standing in your stretching position and then next thing you know, your leg's numb, you probably overdid it, okay? And if you overdo it, you're losing that maximum power that muscle can output. It's a really weird thing. And so the biggest thing for you guys while you're doing these stretches, find the happy medium. I go about 10 seconds. You can do less, you can do more, whatever you feels right for your body, since everybody's body is a little bit different. But yeah, that's the most important thing that you need to know while you're doing these stretches. So now let's get into some stretches, and then I'm gonna talk about, at the end, I'm gonna talk about one way that you can really maximize your session, especially if it's at a new skate park, but pretty much any session. So you're gonna show up, you're gonna not do anything weird like lunges and squats and front flips. I don't know, just standing up front flips. You're not gonna do any of that. You're gonna show up, you're gonna pad up, you're gonna stretch. And it is gonna be a little easier to stretch without your pads on, but I always put mine on anyway. So decide if you wanna stretch before the pads or after the pads. But either way, you're gonna stretch and then you're gonna do some warm-ups in the skate park. Those are the things I'm gonna talk about next. So let's do some stretching. Okay, so the stretches that I always do are on the ground first. I don't do very many standing straight up or running around, so it's always on the ground because I feel like your lower body is some of the most important parts to stretch, because on our legs, we explode off with our legs, we land, we crash with our legs. So our legs, our butt, our lower back, these are all things that really get a good workout when we're riding. So I feel like they need to be loosened up and they need to be ready to go. Now, my pants are pretty tight, and I can't tell, can you see this in the camera? Anyway, my pants are pretty tight, and I've got my pads on. But anyway, the first thing I do is I just sit down, touch your toes, okay? Now, you're gonna notice you might only be able to get here at first, and that's because you haven't been doing this very often. But eventually you'll be able to touch your toes and like life will be good. I don't know, I feel like I'm somewhat flexible. Or I just have short legs and a long torso. I don't know what it is, but basically touch your toes, okay? And if you just go to where you feel this burn back here in your hamstrings, okay? This is the first thing, warms up your hamstrings really good. And you can put the more amount of pressure with your body. Like if I lean in more, then obviously I'm gonna feel more of a burn on the hamstrings and right here above my knee, which is still my hamstring. But anyway, so do that for a few seconds, okay? Get it warmed up. You're like, oh, okay, I feel the burn. All right, cool. And now we're gonna focus it on each individual leg. This is where it takes some flexibility with your tight pants, but you're gonna put your leg into your other leg and then just reach. And this one, you can feel it just on your left leg, right? You're gonna feel the burn just on the left leg when you do this one. Do it for a little bit. And you'll notice, play with it. Turn your toe outwards and you'll feel it in a different side. If you turn it inwards, you'll also feel that move. So I like to move mine back and forth a few times, just really slowly while I'm doing the stretch to get all areas, I guess, of the leg. And now we're gonna switch. Feel the burn. And sometimes, I don't know, this hip on my left side is a lot tighter than my right side because just putting my leg in here stretches my hip. And that's kind of an interesting thing. Maybe it's because I slept in my car last night and it was not very comfortable. So this is very important to do anyway. All right, cool. And then after that, I always go back to 2 legs, just a real quick one because they're already warmed up and I can get more stretch out of this one than I did the first time now that they're warmed up, okay? Cool. Now you wanna get, I don't know what this is, but I mean, it's the muscle tendon, whatever, that runs through your butt. And one of the best ways to do this is cross your leg, okay? And if you guys played sports, you'll do this thing. That's not what we're doing. You're gonna cross your leg and then hug it and pull it into your chest. And you can pull it in and not get anything out of it. So make sure that you're pulling it in and you're feeling that burn right here. And just pull it in, adjust your body so that stretches right there. This is one of the most commonly missed stretches. Like we stretch out our hamstrings and our quads really good, but not many people stretch this out. And this is gonna make a world of difference because this really controls your lower back. If you guys are having trouble with your lower back, try this, okay? Do this for a few sessions, hug your hips. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm a new man after this. And like you can instantly feel it. It stretches my lower back, it stretches down my butt. This is a really good one. And again, don't overdo it, guys. You don't want to cause muscle fatigue, but you just want to give it enough so that you're stretched, okay? Cool. So already after that, I feel really good. And then I like to pop my back. I don't think chiropractors will say it's bad for you, but after that, I just put my hips together and then just twist. I get a pretty good pop. Oh, and I pop my neck. But that, I don't know, that's just me. So anyway, cool, we got some good stretches there. Now, if you guys wanna maximize that last one that we just did, you can bend your knee up like this, and then take your opposite knee and throw it behind you and throw your chest weight down on top of this front knee. And this just gives you like the most crazy pretzel stretch ever on that hip. And I wouldn't do this right away. I do it after you guys have warmed up that muscle a little bit more. You know, especially if you're having lower back pain, don't jump right into it, but ease into it. And once you start doing this, it's like, it's just amplifies that other one. I only do it sometimes, usually at the gym and not even at the skate park, because this is one of the weird ones, especially in tight pants. But all right, cool. So there we go. We got our leg muscles warmed up. Now, bonus tip, if you have a foam roller, we're gonna do a couple foam roller things. If you guys don't, get one. This is from Walmart, it's like 15 bucks. It's a really good investment, so I'm gonna grab it and do a couple of my foam roller things. Usually I do this at home every morning and not necessarily before I ride, but bonus tip. Okay. Can't tell if you guys can see it, but I always put it mid back and then just relax over it, and you'll feel it when you relax. Your muscles or your spine just kind of folds over it. It's like your butt tries to touch the ground on one end and your shoulders on the other end. Then I just like to lay here and then roll it up towards my head. If you put your arms up, you get different focus. This one is never fun, but what the roller is doing is it's rolling over your back muscles and it's slowly activating them, because there's not too many back stretches per se. So just rolling over it will give you a good warm up on it. Okay, and then this one I do just to stretch my back. I quit having back problems after I did this, but I don't recommend it because I don't know what I'm doing. But I put it here about at my shoulders, a little higher. And then I use my hands, I grab my head, I fold my head that way, and I roll back. And it just gives me a really good pop. Oh. And that's a little bit of foam roller. Now, the last thing we're gonna do in the stretching world is just literally the most simple one. Just cross your arm across your chest, pull it in there. And we're gonna switch. This is gonna stretch this back area, but it also puts some good like pressure on your pecs up here. And that's something that you use a lot when you're pumping, you know, that explosive thing. So I like to do that, and I like to do it the other way, like put my arm up against a wall and push against it this way and just let it stretch out here and get this. Here, let's do that real quick. Oh, look, hello, here we are. So anyway, just get your arm on one side of something, stretch the other way, and you're gonna feel it right here. It's a really good stretch because you're gonna use this a lot when you're pumping, when you're compressing, when you're jumping, everything like that. So do that. If you're really sore, like yesterday was chest day, put your arm up like this and then push it in. And this is gonna stretch right here. Okay, cool. So now I feel like 25 million bucks. Got some good stretching down, and that was really nice. Nothing weird, right? I mean, the fold over your legs was a little weird. People might give you a funny look for that, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad, right? So now what we need to talk about is when you guys get to the park, okay, you've showed up, you've stretched, you've got your pads on. Now, especially a new park, it's really important to warm up on it. And what I like to do is no tricks, okay, virtually no tricks for, I don't know, for a while, okay. To me, it's just, now it's a weird thing in my head is I just like to make sure I'm fully warmed up. I know where everything is. Let me tell you a story. One time I was at a skate park in Missouri, never been there before, dropped in, I'm riding around, riding the bull, and then I jumped out on the fly out. The fly out was a spine. And so I was like, oh no. You know, I go to put my foot down on the deck. There's no deck because it's a spine. This happened twice. It happened again at Woodward on the animal chin spine. I rolled my ankle. It was the craziest thing. So don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. Get in, cruise it, figure out where everything is, figure out what feels good, and just get comfortable cruising around. It's gonna make a world of difference. All right, so I hope that helped you out with some stretching, making sure that you're gonna get the best session possible. And let me know in the comments what your favorite stretch is that I did not mention, because I'd love to hear it. You guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.